joining me now is my friend, though we are not related, Julie Kelly. Her Substack, Declassified, as you well know, is basically appointment reading. Julie, I'm going to give you the reins of the show here for a bit because this Arctic frost stuff has people a bit confused. The media's not talking about it. So what happened?
I mean, it's amazing, Jesse, and it's a little bit frustrating, I have to say, because I've been on your show, this radio show, your TV show, talking about Jack Smith and his pursuit of the president in Florida in the documents case, Washington, the J6 case. We've also talked about the DOJ and FBI. This is Joe Biden's DOJ, Chris Wray's FBI, their abusive tactics in hunting down hundreds of American citizens who protested at the Capitol on January 6th. Now, all of a sudden, we are starting to get the full depth of Jack Smith's depravity in his pursuit of not just President Trump, everyone around him, and key figures and organizations in the MAGA movement. So I know you and I are happy to see this treachery of this dirty prosecutor, Jack Smith, and his whole team of thugs finally come to light. It's delayed. It's late, but, better late than never. The question is now, Jesse, what's going to be done about it?
Yeah, that is the ultimate question. We will get to that question in a few. First, let's focus on, we'll get to the other political figures in a moment. The politicians themselves. It's not a small thing when you're reaching out to Verizon to get the phone records of Senator Marsha Blackburn and others. This is a major deal. What did they do? How in the world did they justify it? We're supposed to have laws that stop the FBI from doing this stuff.
Well, we have laws, and there's also the constitutional question of protections for lawmakers under the speech or debate clause. So not only did Jack Smith and, of course, the DOJ before he was appointed, I do want to clarify one thing. You see a lot of the blame going to Jack Smith, and that's fine. But he was appointed in November of 2022. This baby belongs to Merrick Garland and Lisa Monaco, Joe Biden, and, of course, Christopher Wray. So they had the reins of this investigation for almost 2 years before Jack Smith took it over. But, Jesse, this is a very good question that you just raised. These corporations also need to be held accountable. My understanding is the only company that fought a subpoena for the records of Senator Ted Cruz was AT&T. They were the only ones who fought the subpoena. Why did these cell phone companies, why did banking institutions work hand in glove with the DOJ and FBI to turn over these records without substantial court fight in litigation? So that is something that these companies are going to have to answer for as well, because as we said, they not only did this to the president, they not only did this to now Republican lawmakers, including top senators in Washington, but they did this to average Americans as well for attending the protest on January 6th. So these companies we need answers from these companies as well.
Again, speaking with Julie Kelly, Declassified is her Substack where you can get all the juicy stuff on this stuff. Okay, Julie, setting the senators aside, because let's be frank, it's going to be hard for normal people to feel much sympathy for senators, no matter which party they're from. Other leaders in our industry, though, were also surveilled by the Stasi. What happened? Who'd they go after?
Well, I'm just catching up. Senator Grassley had a press conference this afternoon with these senators, some of whom were targeted. And so I'm just sort of catching up now. But of course, Turning Point USA, we know from other records that have been released, of course, Charlie Kirk's organization that he founded, they were targeted. Other Republican organizations, I know from following Jack Smith in this case that they were trying to go after the president's PACs. They were trying to go after the RNC. So they were going after any of these organizations that supported the president. So we're just sort of getting all of that information now. My understanding is there's going to be another huge document dump soon that will shed even more light on how Jack Smith and his team pursue these organizations. But it is a sprawling investigation that involved numerous FBI field offices, This was not just something run out of special counsel's office with Jack Smith and a handful of prosecutors and investigators. This reached almost every field office. We saw this ridiculous email from an FBI agent in Seattle who made all these accusations about Ed Corrigan, who's a longtime leader in the conservative movement at the Conservative Partnership Institute. You probably know him as well, accusing him of being a Putin asset and that he needed to be investigated. I mean, aside from these people just being dirty and corrupt, they're crazy too. And it's terrifying to see not just who led this crusade, this rampage against the president and everyone around him, but low-level agents, investigators at the FBI who also helped pursue that. And this, Jesse, is something you and I have talked about. After these discoveries, is the FBI truly salvageable? I really think this is a question that the president has to confront, and DOJ and FBI new leadership, because it's hard to see, even with a lot of firings, that the institutional rot of the FBI is going to be fixed on a permanent basis in a way that we can ever trust what's happening there again.
Julie, how could it possibly be salvageable? And to be frank, even if it is, let's put the smiliest face on it we can. Let's say we could clean out all the gunk and whatnot. If an organization, any organization, commits acts this brazenly criminal and treasonous, that organization should cease to exist just on principle. Why even bother trying to save it?
It's hard to argue with you on this. And I mean, again, you and I have talked about this for years. And quite honestly, Jesse, we were told that was going to be part of the agenda of the Trump presidency, was dismantling the FBI. And I mean, I've been as patient as possible. I trust the new leadership there. But look, and this is not just about what we know about Arctic Frost or January 6th. They were spying on parents protesting at school boards. They were spying on pro-lifers. They were rounding up pro-life advocates women in their 70s and arresting them. I mean, these are people who beat down the door of American homes with battering rams and armed agents pointing rifles, pointing weapons at elderly women and children to arrest someone on nonviolent charges for January 6th. So you're right. I mean, this is so much bigger than just what we're learning about Arctic Frost and Jack Smith. This has been years, of course, dating back to Crossfire Hurricane, but accelerated under the Joe Biden regime, Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, Chris Wray, Matthew Graves, the D.C. U.S. attorney, all of them. There are thousands of people who were participated in this. And so you're right. We really have to confront this question now. Is that bureau worth saving? Can it be saved? And I think the question now is no.
Julie, final question for me, does anybody who currently or formerly had an FBI badge, does anybody go to prison?
I don't know. I don't see how you can. I mean, I posted today, Jesse, people can look, Julie_Kelly2 on X, what they did to Harrison Floyd, who was a decorated Marine with multiple tours of duty in Iraq, who was basically accosted by two FBI agents, including Walter Giardina, who has his dirty fingerprints all over all of these cases, and harassed him in front of his daughter. He wasn't accused of anything violent. He was one of the president's election coordinators in Georgia, who was later wrapped up in the Fannie Willis. At one point, the confrontation got so heated, Walt Giardina put his hand on his rifle, on his handgun, like he was going to take aim at a completely innocent man. So that has to violate some sort of law that they were involved in this rampage in tormenting American citizens. This is Stasi level stuff. So people have to be held in handcuffs. You're absolutely right. As this agency starts to be dismantled, because this cannot stand.
Thank you, Julie. You are the best. Julie Kelly, Declassified is her Substack. I appreciate you very much.